Hey everyone, Mr. Sugeno here. In today's video, I'm going to do an unboxing of the SNES30 Bluetooth game controller by 8bitdo. I've done a previous unboxing of the SFC30 Bluetooth game controller by 8bitdo. I'll leave a link to that. And that is actually these two controllers right here. So these top two controllers, I've explained it in another video, which I will also leave a link to. I've overcharged the batteries on these, and the batteries no longer work. It appears that the Bluetooth controllers by 8bitdo, the SNES and SFC style, do not have overcharge protection. So those are the issues that I have with these controllers. The only issue whatsoever. The rest of it has been amazing. I highly recommend these controllers. I've got an unboxing, I've got a review, I've got a long-term review. So please take a quick look in the links in the description if you're interested in seeing those. So I'm going to move these controllers out of the way. These are the non-North American standard colors for the Super Nintendo, as you can see. And this is actually the controller that we're unboxing today. This is the North American colors. And also, a slight difference as well, are these top two buttons are concave. You can see these are convex, and these ones dent in. These are concave. Whereas the non-North American, so the basically standard worldwide, have all of the convex buttons, but we have the two top here in North America that are concave. And 8bitdo has successfully replicated that as well in this awesome controller. So let's see what's in the box. I will say that this sticker here is a non-standard sticker. I purchased this one and the seller decided to put a beautiful sticker on it. So if you are one for collecting boxes and displaying them, just be mindful that some sellers do put stickers on them. I believe there's also one on the back here. Yep, there's one on the back here. All right. So the first box is just a sleeve, as you can see here. Nothing special. I don't keep boxes for things, so that'll probably just go in the recycle bin. So here's the nice fancy box you get from 8bitdo. And I'll open it up. And inside, as you can see, is the beautiful SNES30 Bluetooth game controller. So I'll take this out eventually. There's just two foam pieces that can be removed. Which makes taking out the controller considerably easier here. Alright, so here's the controller in all of its glory. I'll compare it to the one I already own. I'll just move the box out of the way for a minute. So here's the controller I already owned. Here's the new controller. They're about the same weight. Everything looks okay. They look completely identical. Looking at the backs of them, the backs are different. So this was expected, as the original one that I purchased I purchased them shortly after they were released. I would say they're pretty close to initial run. That being said, that's why I believe that overcharging protection wasn't built into the initial ones. I'm not sure if it is now, but just a note again, do not overcharge these controllers. So comparing the two labels, you can see the new controller versus the old controller. So I'll put them up there and you can see the differences. So I'm quite pleased that I did not get an initial run controller and I got one of the later ones. And the same thing actually is between these two controllers here. This is the initial one and this is a later run. So this is the initial one where the battery did not work. And you can see the labels between the two initial ones are the same. And the labels between the two later edition ones are also the same. So if you are purchasing your 8bitdo, pay attention to the labels. They should look like this. If your label looks like this one here, you have an earlier model of the controller. So let's get started. Should power on. Yep, powers on just fine. That's the initial check. They don't normally ship them dead. And let's get back to the box. So the controller is not the only part in this box. You open it up, and you get a nice little instruction manual. I highly recommend keeping this, as there are some great instructions. There's also a PDF with the instructions as well. The main things you're going to want to know out of these things are what the LED indicators mean, as well as updating the firmware in these, because I highly recommend updating the firmware. If I can find the English part. Oh, here we go. And, oh, these seem to have changed a little bit. Interesting. All right, so they have definitely changed the manual. These manuals have changed since the earlier versions of the controller, which is kind of nice to see. But anyways, there's just a quick how-to guide. The older manuals used to have how to upgrade the firmware, a little more detailed information on how to pair with, for example, the Wii or anything like that. This manual does not. So I'll set this manual aside. It comes with a gray colored, it should still be gray, yep, a gray colored ribbon style micro USB cable. The length of this is actually fairly long. I don't think I can fit the whole thing on my camera here, but here's a pretty good example of how long it is. And the last bit is the keychain. And this is a Nintendo NES style keychain, not a Super Nintendo. So you can see there the regular NES controller. And it's a keychain that says, "In memory of FC," so the family computer, which is the Japanese version of the NES, since July 15th, 1983. FC 30th anniversary. And on the top it says 8bitdo FC30. Everything old is new again. And that is their actual other controller. That's the NES style controller that they have. It's called the SNES30, and then they also have a Famicom version. I believe it's called the FC30. And that's what this keychain is for. So it's a bit of a bummer that this isn't a SFC30 or SNES30 keychain. But the best part about this is I actually really like these key rings. These key rings are very strong and solid, and I really like them. So what I normally do is just take the key ring off the keychain and use this for my keys. And that's about it for the box. There's nothing else underneath. So you get the keychain, you get the controller, you get the cable, and you get a instruction manual. And that's all. So that being said, I hope you liked my video. Thank you. Take care, everyone. I will leave the links at the end of this video as well to my other 8bitdo videos. If you have any questions about the 8bitdo SFC or SNES30 controllers, feel free to leave a comment in the description and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks everyone, and take care.